Linda Dano.
I'm Dee Kelly. Welcome to Attitudes, everybody.
You know, Dee and I took a little trip to Orlando, Florida. We had a great time, and we sort of snuck off to the new Disney studios, the MGM studios there.
We escaped.
We escaped, and we're going to show you what happened to us there.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And now Deborah Eden is back. Deborah Eden is a wonderful gal. She is very involved with Big Beautiful Woman magazine, and she's kind of close to my heart because when I screen tested for Attitudes, the test you take when you're on film to get the job, she was the lady that I had to interview, so she's one of my special friends. Now, you'll be talking about overweight women and discrimination.
Yes.
And that's quite a problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of it, and it certainly happened to her. She's going to talk about that.
And you've seen it in show business you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that'll be interesting, as opposed to men, overweight men.
True.
Okay.
Different.
Then we're going to find out what this is. What is
Do you all know? Do you see this little thing? This is a bone. We're not sure whose bone.
These are bones.
These are actual bones.
Are these human bones?
I don't know. It could be an ex-husband's of mine. I'm not sure. Wouldn't that be a... Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's to go with the doll that you had with the pins in it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're so crazy.
Bad. Yes, very bad.
But we're not crazy. We are crazy about this gal and her work recently. We all remember Cat Stevens' popular song, Wild World.
Well, that song was written about our first guest, Patty Darville, a wonderful, sensual actress who recently starred in one of network television's steamiest love scenes ever.
Buckle your
trying to kill me. It's dangerous for you to be with me now.
I need you. I need you. Hold me. Hold me. Hold me.
Look at me.
Yes, yes.
Please welcome the wildly exciting and lucky Patty Darville. Just touch me. Oh,
I bet you're surprised I can walk after that.
Yes, we are, Patty. I have to know two things about this scene, okay?
Yes.
One is...
Yes, he is.
Besides that, did you actually do something, do it, to make that look so real?
Oh, no.
No?
No, absolutely not. But we did choreograph it ourselves.
How much time was spent in practicing this?
About 3 days. No.
Oh.
Down.
No, I love this show. You have to
somebody's got
understand.
to do it.
Water,
Yeah, water. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we figured out all the, I know it's hard.
You choreograph it. How does that work for our
Well,
audience,
we had
too?
a closed set because it was a rather delicate situation.
You looked beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Didn't she?
Well, I was glowing. I felt beautiful that day. And we decided what we were going to do. Basically, we had a very closed set because of the situation. Yes. And also, the set isn't quite as big as it looks. It's kind of the magic of movies that makes it look as big as that. But we just had different ideas for different things. Like, I wanted to go on the dining room table because that's actually where I conceived my son. And
whoa, wait a minute. Back it up.
No,
Back it up.
But
now
we have to, let them know.
Wait. Now, Patty has a son who's 6 years old by Don Johnson, right?
This poor girl.
Yeah.
This is
Really has a rough life, doesn't
This is very sad.
And you conceived him on the dining room table.
On the dining room table.
At your house, or?
In a restaurant, Linda.
No, it was in our house, in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
So
in the dining room.
Tell us, so you wanted to do it on
the spontaneous kind of thing.
and it was very real for you.
It was very real for me. It
was real
you mean
for
with Donnie or with
No, what I'm
Ken?
saying is that you used that piece of business because it came from
because
a
it came from a
realistic
very
thing.
important part
At a moment
of
in your
me.
life.
Yeah, and there was that same kind of urgency. Gee whiz. Hi, Don.
You hear that sound? I'm tapping. I've never tapped.
You know, it's kind of a reaffirmation of life because something really bad had gone down in the episode, and we were actually being shot at, and we were both really terrified. And that kind of adrenaline, you want to just kind of grab on to somebody and say, hold me, and, you know.
Now, we're teasing Patty, but in all reality, if you all watch Wise Guy, which I do religiously, you're quite wonderful in the show.
Thank
Or
you.
any of your work. What you did in Wired, the John Belushi story as Kathy Smith.
Was excellent.
Excellent.
Now you
And you're up for an ACE Award for another piece.
Yes,
we should
you're
say.
right.
In
You're
Hitchhiker.
up for an ACE Award?
Yes,
Yeah,
we are also.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You come from a drug and alcohol background. You went through that yourself, didn't you?
My family is riddled with alcoholism, and in fact, most of the my father's side of the family has actually died from alcoholism.
How did you pull yourself out of it, Patty?
Well, I basically realized that I was getting nowhere, and that alcoholism is a disease of denial. And I actually stopped drinking and started using drugs because I didn't want to be an alcoholic. It made no sense, but in my mind, I have a disease that tells me that that's okay, that made sense. It's very bizarre. And so I just at one point realized that I really couldn't get any lower. And I was going to start doing really crazy things if I didn't stop. And somebody actually did save my life. They came over to my house for tea and noticed that all the spoons in the house were bent. And you use spoons when you're shooting heroin to kind of melt the substance into a solution so that you can inject it into your veins. And every single spoon was bent. And he called me a little while later and asked if I wanted help. And I knew right at that moment that if I didn't ask for help, you know, that I was going to die. So I said, yeah, please help me. You know.
And was that the lowest point in your life?
Right before he called was probably the lowest point in my life. And it started getting better from there.
We were talking about your kind of free spirit days and lifestyle. Your parents, you grew up in Greenwich Village. They were not married.
It was a very eclectic household, yes.
But it's interesting because you are really a survivor. You know, you've been through so much and, you know, hit the wall a couple of times.
You know, that's why I like to talk about the problems that I've had in my life, because I hope to think that it expresses hope. You know, and that people who are who are in that kind of situation might just be flipping the channels and see me talking and suddenly go, oh yeah, wait
Maybe
a minute, I can identify with that. That's me. That happened to me, and I don't need to do this anymore in my life. You know.
How did you get started in acting? I know you dropped out of school when you were 15.
Yeah.
Was that
Andy
because
Warhol?
you wanted to be an actress?
Yeah. Well, I started modeling first, and a very wonderful man, Antonio Lopez, started drawing me for the New York Times fashion magazine. And then he brought me up to Wilhelmina, who was one of the top modeling agencies then. And I was always 5'4". She thought I was going to grow, and I never did. So I went to Europe, and I started acting there, actually. Just kind of, I always wanted to do that, and I used modeling kind of as a springboard into that.
How, when you did the John Belushi film Wired, and you play Kathy Smith, for those of you who have not seen the film, Kathy Smith was the character that gave John Belushi the fatal injection that killed him, correct? Now you had to
I had to look back into the
simulate
face of hell,
giving yourself a heroin injection after you went through truly hell to get off it.
Yeah,
what was that like for you as an actress or as a person?
You know, we had a closed set on that as well, because it's another kind of delicate situation. And I had turned down the role 5 times because I didn't want to get back into the kind of mindset that I needed to be in order to do that role justice. Finally, I thought, wait a minute, maybe this is going to be cathartic for me. Maybe I'm going to get over the last whatever it is that continues to make that kind of lifestyle glamorous, because remember, when you have a disease like this, it tells you it's okay at every turn, and it's, you know, it's not. It's a killer. So it really destroyed any sense of glamour I had about it. And I know that sounds very bizarre, but sometimes you think back and the times weren't so bad.
Yes.
That's why it's important to repeat the story a lot.
Did you have to actually shoot something
we
into
had
your
a
arm?
real needle on top of it, and a baby laxative powder that we used to simulate the drugs. And yeah, it was really rough, because at a certain point I actually had to come very, very close with the needle so it would look like it was going into my skin, and I just, I mean, I literally almost passed out. I had to look in the mirror afterwards, and the camera pans up to me looking in the mirror, and as I was actually looking in the mirror, and I remembered having looked in the mirror so many times and just being sick with myself for having done something like that. And then at the same time that I was sick, at that period in my life, I was so elated that I had gone through it and come out the other side, and that there was a camera there.
Yes.
You know,
see, it is a moment. It is a moment of triumph for you. Your life is.
Yeah, I came out the other end, you know, and I'm fine, and I'm healthy, and God willing, I'm going to stay that way.
Tell us a little, before we go, tell us about another triumph in your life, your son Jesse. Are you raising him differently than you were, or?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, is there anything that you want for Jesse that you didn't have in your own life that you think will help him?
Yeah, stability and tradition and being there for him all the time. I mean, I would give up everything I've got right now.
For him.
For him. And that's something that I didn't feel that my family was willing to do.
Don Johnson said that you were an absolutely incredibly fabulous mother.
Completely dedicated to him and to my family, and that's why it's so important that I make the family that I do have work. I mean, that's why I'm so close with Donnie and Melanie, because that's all I've got, and I'm going to make it work if it kills me, you know.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's a delight to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, too.
Patty Darville.
Say hi to Ken Wall.
Great having you here.
Coming up next, overweight women and discrimination. Come back. Did you know that overweight women fall prey to all kinds of discrimination in our society? Even famous large-size women are subjected to blatant negative attitudes so prevalent today. But how exactly are overweight women treated? And how can they overcome the prejudices that prevail? Let's find out from our next guest. She's the National Advertising Director of Big Beautiful Woman magazine and an expert on large-size women. Please welcome back to our show, Deborah Eden. Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
How are you? Good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you. You believe that women are discriminated against that are large sizes?
I believe people are discriminated against. I believe women are discriminated against. And I believe women that are large size are discriminated against.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think that you can take out any one segment and say more or less so than anybody else, but there's a specific kind of discrimination.
Like what?
Well, more so than the only other time I can relate to is when I was pregnant, my body seemed to be everybody's business. And people felt free to touch it and talk to me about it, you know, and all kinds of different things. And I've been small and I've been large, so I have a point of comparison. And absolute total strangers having nothing to do with my life feel completely free to discuss my weight with me.
Like what? What would they say to you?
If I had $1,000 for every person that said, you have such a pretty face, or you're so bright, or you're so marketable, if only, I could have bought the Trump Tower. It absolutely would be mine. Cash paid, only income every month.
Now, Debbie, what happens when somebody says that to you? What do you feel inside?
I think initially, when I first became large size, I was devastated. It was a personal affront, and it was somebody coming inside a place that people don't usually come inside. And I was not used to it.
Yeah.
It was not, I didn't grow up as a large child. I didn't grow up, I wasn't in college and the biggest girl in the dorm. And so when I, as an adult, became large size, and people took such an incredible interest in it, and felt free to say almost anything to me, it was devastating. It very briefly, I think, altered my perception of myself.
In what way?
Being more than can make you feel very much less than other people. Yeah. You have a tendency, if there's a filter, it's a size filter. You view, your life may be incredibly good. I've been married for 10 years, and my life can be incredibly good, but if the size is not all right, nothing else seems all right.
That's true. Absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely.
And it's turning the binoculars around the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's looking at things.
It affects everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely.
Your magazine did a survey on a lot of women.
Well, we kept getting letters, and we get letters from women saying, "Thank God for this magazine. It's made me look at things differently, and for once I feel good about myself, and I'm not listening to my family, friends, you know, etc. And they're telling me I could never be anything, but you're telling me that that's not true. Yeah. And thank you for the examples of the women that you show." And so they started writing in and telling us all kinds of different things, and we began to ask questions about what kind of experiences women have come across. And I think that women in the entertainment field, as you've discussed, are such an easy target.
Yeah, they are.
And we've got Delta Burke right now.
Yeah.
And what an incredibly beautiful, talented woman.
And everybody's talking about her weight.
And everybody talks about her weight.
Yeah.
And Roseanne Barr, who has been thin and has been large.
Liz Taylor. When she was
Taylor.
Yeah. Became everybody's
It's everyone's business.
topic.
And you wonder about that.
Now, why is it I feel more of that towards women than I do men? When you see a large man, you don't really say anything, but you see a large woman, and boy, you let her have it.
But for centuries, we haven't been writing poetry and literature and putting the emphasis of a man's worth on his appearance. For centuries, it's been on his performance and on what he contributes and all of the things he does. But women, for centuries, were valued for their appearance and the affectation, not the substance.
We all know, because we're in a society now, which is good, we're all very involved with health.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect you and large-sized women? Are you concerned about that, your
Sure.
own personal health?
Sure. I think that you find now that there are women who are doing tapes and exercise tapes for large sizes, because there's been an almost all or nothing concept where you say, well, because you're large size, just like take all the weight off and then get healthy, or then get fit, or then get whatever, and then get successful, then get an education, then get what, and there's always a then. There's always something way down the road.
Something that you haven't attained.
And it's live now.
Yeah.
And I think that as we become more conscious of fitness and health and making good decisions today, and not having, because actually in the name of getting small, the least healthy things happen.
Debbie, you are a very together gal.
Thank you.
You are self-confident. You have a wonderful job. Can you say something to a lady that's watching right now that doesn't have any self-esteem? She doesn't like the way she looks. Can you give her some advice?
Sure, and she may be saying, well, how easy for her to say she has a wonderful job because it only relates to large sizes. And how, oh, of course she would get that job. I am also the corporate ad director for the publishing company that owns BBW. And you just don't have me on here talking about speedboats, but I also run a magazine for speedboats and for computers, etc. So it's not just that I am confident only in the large size world. I liked me thin. I liked me single. I liked me married. I liked me as a daughter, a wife, a mother. And that's what I had to come to, was that the fact that I changed to dress size did not mean that who I am as a person and what I bring to the party and the commitment that I put to the tasks that I take on is less than it should be. And I take those benefits and I take the little strokes in the places that are appropriate. And the emphasis that I put on my weight has a tendency to magnify the emphasis that everyone else puts on my weight.
Okay, yeah.
So if it is all-consuming to me, it becomes very consuming to other people. If it is of minimal difference to what I do and who I know and my relationships, it becomes of less importance to them.
That's it, guys. Stop focusing on it. Right? I have to learn this lesson, too. I do. I appreciate you coming. You always have so much to say. And thank you, Debby.
Coming up next, an artist entrepreneur with lots of skeletons in her closet. Stay with us.
You remember this, right? What is it?
It is, or maybe maybe it is,
You don't know any more than I do you?
Don't have a
no,
clue.
Not a clue. Well, it's skeletal jewelry, from shark's vertebrae to parts of an armadillo skull. It's lots of bones, artfully combined with silver, gold, and stones by an artist whose first name is GoGo. Please welcome the creative GoGo Fuller. Hi, GoGo.
Hi, GoGo.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. How are you?
Flip here in the middle here.
We were kidding. We know what it is because
Yeah.
you're famous.
Yes. Now, first tell us, before we get into the jewelry, how'd you get the name GoGo?
Well, I tell some people I was a topless dancer, but actually it's a childhood
No.
name, and it
is?
stuck with me, yeah.
From the
I've
time
had
you
it
were a
since I
little
was
kid?
about 2 years old.
You're kidding. Okay. Now, how did all of this begin? How did you get into doing
Well,
bones as jewelry?
I live on a very remote island off the coast of Georgia, which is actually larger than Manhattan, and there are 20 of us that live there full-time, mostly family. And my family run an inn down there. It's called Cumberland Island.
Tell them just a bit about
It's
that.
incredible. There are 250 wild horses that still roam the island, and armadillo, lots of deer, and that's how I sort of came up with this idea. I was managing my family's inn for about 6 years, and I was designing for myself and then started doing some consignment.
Your grandfather was?
Thomas Carnegie. He's
Yeah,
the
the
younger
Carnegie
brother of
family.
Andrew Carnegie.
Carnegie family. Okay.
And now, let's move right
Let's
down
see
here and
some
look
of
at
your
what...
work.
And you collect most of this on Cumberland
I collect
Island.
most of it on Cumberland. For instance, this is all shark vertebrae. All the round that you see
Oh,
shark
my
vertebrae. This is a Louisiana pearl that's being farmed in this country.
Isn't that beautiful, Ellen? Look at this. Can you see those pearls?
Jackie Onassis has one of these. This is shark vertebrae as well. It's with onyx.
Nice.
They're very
Can
popular.
you guess what these are?
Is it to do with the shark?
I have
No, these are armadillo jawbones.
Aha.
Oh, I should have known that.
Yeah. I don't come across many armadillos.
No, probably not
No,
up here.
no.
You don't,
What kind of bone is this?
Those are alligator phalanges, the finger bones of an alligator.
Really?
I think we must also mention that GoGo doesn't kill anything
That's right,
for
I
her
don't.
bones.
What I
right.
find
She
is what I
finds
use.
them with her daughter, Hannah.
Right.
Tell us about Hannah.
Hannah's 4.5 years old, and she does go out hunting. I hike a lot during the winter. I won't go out in the summer because of the ticks and the bugs and the
That's
snakes.
good,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
smart.
these are rattlesnake ribs that I have on my ear.
Really?
Look at
These are
those.
rattlesnake vertebrae.
Right here.
Wait,
Can
let's
you
pull
see
this back so we can see it.
And this is rattlesnake vertebrae. John,
Wow.
can you get a shot of that? See it? It's different than the one on your ear. How come?
Well,
There it
the
is.
ribs come out from this.
Oh,
That's a
I
big
see.
snake.
This
isn't
is
it?
about a
Yeah.
6.5 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
a
about
big
6.5 foot rattlesnake.
Rattler. Now, let's see. What is this stone here?
This is a German agate. I use all semi-precious stones in gold and silver, and my clasps are usually carved bone.
How much would, let's say, this be with the
That
agate?
retails for $750.
Oh, because of the agate,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Now,
This
what
is
is
jade.
this? That's what I
Same
thought.
thing. It's rattlesnake ribs and vertebrae with
Right.
jade.
Look how interesting that is. Can you all see that?
When did you do this for
Can
the
you see it?
first time?
Isn't that pretty?
Did
I
you
guess
find
that-
a bone when you were a kid?
Oh, I was always hanging something around my neck growing up on the island. I always had a
Shark's
shark's
teeth
tooth
or something?
or a shell or some kind of a bone. And it sort of took off from there. I never stopped.
Now, what is this, GoGo?
That is the scapula of a deer.
What is a
And-
scapula?
Here,
The back thing.
Oh,
right?
this thing in your
Yeah.
shoulder?
right.
Where, in your shoulder?
Right there.
Oh, I thought it was down lower.
Here.
Oh, right there?
Right
Oh,
here.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's what it looks like, huh? All right.
This is a cheekbone. I have one on. This is the cheekbone of a drumfish. huge fish,
So it's
probably about 80
everything,
pounds.
all kinds of
Anything that I
animals
find that has an interesting shape, and then I try to incorporate a lot of the colors that I see on Cumberland Island.
Yeah.
Do you use human bones?
No.
Never.
I don't think I really want to get into you.
I don't think that's
Human
such a
bones.
good idea. No. Now,
You know, the interesting thing about this is that a friend of mine, actually one of the stores that carries my jewelry is Nicole Miller.
Right.
On
Yes,
Madison
in New York,
Avenue.
in New York
And
City.
in fact, this is a Nicole Miller I have on, and she comes to the island quite a bit and saw that my jewelry was being worn by a lot of the guests at the inn and a lot of people around New York with her clothes. And she has such an incredible sense of style
does
to me.
work.
It's very high fashion, but it works. For some reason, they really... And it's a great conversational piece.
Well, when you find a bone just sort of lying on the ground, how do you know what bone it is?
Oh, I
what
could
animal?
I could
You would
identify
know.
any carcass on the island now.
Do you have a degree in this, or you were just from your own experiences, or did you go to school for biology or
I was an art
anthropology?
major, but they didn't teach me anything about bone design. I've just always had a fascination
It's just
for the
your
natural
gift.
beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, audience? Very pretty.
Isn't that great?
Thank you, GoGo. Thank
Go-Go
you.
forward.
For coming.
Thank you, GoGo. Very neat. Coming up, an on-the-spot technique to relieve stress and boost your energy. How would you like to learn a quick and easy technique to relax your body and boost your energy level right smack in the middle of the most stressful part of your day? Well, that's what we're about to do. Our guest today is a special friend of Attitude's. Until recently, she was our production secretary, which means if you have ever called our office, you have probably spoken with her. Like most physicians dealing with the public, her job could become quite stressful at times. And in order to relieve daily stress and anxiety, and Linda's and mine, she discovered chakra therapy and has come back to show us how we can balance our energy at any time or place during the day. Please welcome our wonderful Jules Crow.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now, before we do anything, let's explain what a chakra is.
Okay, a lot of people probably are not aware that their bodies are electrical systems.
Right.
You know, we have 70% water, electricity is made by water, so it only follows that we have electricity in our bodies. Most of us don't use it, ignore it, and the idea is to utilize it to make it work for us. And so the idea is, and I like what you said, it is quick, it is easy, and it's something that anyone can use, anywhere, anytime. I use it when I wake up in the morning. I use it several times during the day. When I worked here, I used it on the phones. Probably not enough for the people I worked with. I probably should have used it a little more. But it's something to use when you're on the subway, when you, people who work on the telephones, when you're angry.
When you're feeling stressed out.
Yeah.
It's a way to get yourself back
Clear the
in
energy.
line.
Cut whatever is going on and create your own space.
Okay.
And I have to stand up for this.
All right. What
Let
are
me
we going
just-
to do?
Right now, I'm just going to explain what a chakra is.
Okay, Jules, what
and
are we
where
doing?
it is. Okay. What we have is the root chakra, which is somewhere right here at the base.
Right.
Okay, and that color is red. That corresponds to the color red. And then we move up here to the genital area, and that is our coccyx. That's our coccyx chakra. That is a color yellow. And up here is our solar plexus, somewhere behind our belly button. And then we move on up to our heart chakra, which is corresponding with the color green. And we move on up to our thyroid. This is the gland that is in your throat, and it helps with communication, and that corresponds to the color blue. And then we move on up to two of my favorite chakras, if you can say such a thing, is the pineal, which is right behind what is known as the third eye, and then the crown chakra, which is the top of the thing, and it is also the pituitary.
Okay.
So what we're going to work with for this quick...
Should I stand up?
Yeah, go ahead and stand
Okay.
up. Now, the important thing to remember is always, when you work with this kind of energy, always keep your feet across.
Now, this is what we
Don't
do.
cross them, keep them...
This is what we do to de-stress and energize?
Yes, de-stress and energize.
Okay,
You
we're
want to
gonna
like
do that
this so you
right
can
now.
get the energy from the earth. See?
Okay, from the earth.
Okay. And the other thing you have to remember is take deep breaths.
Okay, now, can the audience stand up?
Yeah, go ahead.
and do
Everybody just
this?
stand up. You can stand up or sit down, but let's get your energy up.
I mean, we're standing.
It's fun. This is a fun thing
Stand up.
to do. Okay?
That's it. Why not?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay.
All right. Now, we have to remember a few things. I want you to take some deep breaths while we're going to be doing this, because breathing is very important. Breathing brings the air and allows the chakras that are energy centers to transmute this energy, this electrical energy, okay?
And we can do this in 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to do it in 2 minutes. Okay, go ahead. Everybody rub your hands together real fast.
Make believe you're on the line for the bank,
Rub
you
it
know,
real
the
fast
grocery
until
store.
everything gets hot.
Get hot, get hot.
You feel it getting hot?
Get hot.
Huh? Okay, pull it apart and play with it.
You
Work
feel
with
that
it.
energy?
What do you feel? Something cottony?
Do you feel it?
What you should be feeling is something soft. You should be feeling some of that energy. Go ahead and take the person next to you and touch their face.
That's your
Gently.
electrical energy,
Do you feel the
everybody.
heat?
Your natural electrical energy.
Yeah, you feel it,
Okay,
right?
what else?
Okay, what we're going to do is, because your fingers are
Listen, everybody.
Because your fingers are the sensory, this is where the energy ends. This is where your electrical energy ends. So what we're going to do is we're going to lightly plug in our own electricity. Just shake them. When you go to use a lamp, you have to plug it into the energy source.
That's right.
Just shake them. We don't have to go to town, you know. It doesn't have to be a heavy thing. Okay, what we're going to do is take your right hand up, and you're going to rub the pineal gland. You're going to rub your third eye. Rub it till it gets soft.
What does this mean, that we're going to end up? We started somewhere else.
Okay, we're going to pull this energy down here to the thyroid. Okay, you with me? Flick.
Flick.
Take the energy and go ahead and rub it down here. This is actually behind.
So now,
this
Jules,
is very important where the brain touches the spinal column.
Okay, now what we're doing is we're using the energy in our system that we just got hot.
That's it.
And we're just running. Okay.
But actually, you don't have to rub your hands together. To get started, all you need to do is just lightly
flick. Because it's in you already.
It's in you already. You just have to utilize
energy.
it. Yeah, the idea is to use this as much. Now, let's take everybody through this, okay? What we want is a little quiet, because we're going to be aware of the energy. Everybody just kind of be quiet. Now, I want you to do this, if you can, with your eyes closed.
Okay.
So you're going to get into your own energy for just a second. It only takes 60 seconds, okay?
That's all we have.
That's all we have. Okay, let's flick it, and let's rub. And the idea is to ask a higher consciousness. Just say, I call on the universe, or I call on higher thoughts, and just cleanse. What do you feel?
Relax.
Huh? Do you feel anything? You should feel a light tingling.
Light tingling.
Or you should feel a sense of well-being. Or you should feel a little happier, a little lighter.
And if you weren't so embarrassed...
Uh-oh, we did it on her, honey. Uh-oh.
If you weren't embarrassed because we're
now.
doing it here, you should really try this at home, because she has done this for Linda and I so many nights when we were so crazy, and it works.
Make it work for you.
Jules, thank you for coming and showing us.
It was
this.
wonderful fun.
I love you.
I adore you.
Jules, thank you. Linda!
Coming up, he and I escaped to Disney's MGM studio when we weren't supposed to. Come back.
We recently took a trip to Florida, and we were there with the Florida Symphony League, and we did a fashion show, and we were honored, and we helped them, and we had a marvelous time, and it was very elegant and very sophisticated.
What she's not telling you is that we got into some trouble because... Yeah, well, we decided to take a little detour on the way home. I actually was the instigator of this.
She was the instigator.
I insisted that we drop in at the new MGM Disney Studios. Yeah.
We thought if we were in disguise, no one would recognize us, because we had to be very beautiful and very perfect and not report the fact that we had escaped.
Right.
When we were really supposed to come home, it sort of worked, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. Why don't we find out if you think it worked? Go ahead, take a look. Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, that's us. Just arrived at the new Disney MGM Studios.
I think somebody from the Mel Brooks School of Makeup did the disguise as myself. But we had to do it, right? We figured our little joyride would be over if we got recognized.
If Attitudes isn't paying, you'll find me and Dee haggling over the tickets, of course.
Do you have student discounts?
No, I'm afraid not.
How about senior citizens for my grandfather here?
No, I'm afraid we don't have any discounts this time.
No discounts?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. You guys look familiar.
No. You wouldn't know. No.
Aren't you Regis Philbin and Kennedy Gifford?
Yes.
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 I'm Harry.
I'm Harry Harvey. Let's take
You're
your
Harry.
Harry.
Okay.
Okay.
It's so hot. Oh, gee, great.
Come on. It's itching.
Oh. You wanna? I saw this in a magazine. Come on, let's go.
This is great. As fate would have it, Linda and I are barely inside the place when they pick us for some demonstration. Well, you know, Linda and I just couldn't resist.
Ladies, have a seat. Get you set up right here. And the first thing you do is slip off your shoes. And get you set up in some gear. This is the fashion statement for the fall here, yellow.
It is.
Yellow's in.
It is.
We're sliding in.
You don't have something with shoulder pads, do you? Just kidding,
afraid
Roger.
not, okay?
Just kidding.
Yeah, I button that up for you. You're going to be on our A show. You're going to be our tugboat skipper. It's a little bit of rough weather.
Yeah.
Gets hit by a tidal wave. Sound okay?
Tidal wave? Get hit by a tidal wave.
Tidal wave.
Tidal wave.
Okay? Or should we make it a typhoon?
Oh, that's coming. Make it both.
Well, I have to admit, I had second thoughts. I tried to convince Dee that it really can take all the joy out of the movies if you know too much about how they're made. But you know Dee, she wouldn't hear of it.
You were a good sport, though. At least you remembered your alias.
My name is Harry.
Harry, okay.
Harvey.
Harvey.
How? Harry and Harvey.
Harvey.
We're brothers.
Okay.
We're brothers.
Got it.
Different fathers.
Different fathers.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Right now?
I better wait. I'll be wet. No one will know.
And it looks like your tour guide, Lisa, has brought us a life-size volunteer. Everyone, this is your tour guide, Lisa. Hi, what's your name?
Harry.
Harry. Yes. Well, Harry, it's been nice knowing you. Now follow David back there. Follow David back there. Step inside, and you're going to spin the wheel of misfortune.
During their routine, they tell you that all kinds of movies use special effects like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the Poseidon Adventure.
Everyone yell, dump it, as loud as you can. Ready? 1.
The payoff is they put you on a floating set called the Tugboat Misfortune, and then they dump 800 gallons of water.
Cut! That was a great take. Right now, take a look at your overhead monitors, and we'll see how miniatures, mechanical effects, and a very brave skipper come together to create a classic high seas adventure.
I can tell you that was a personal thrill. But you didn't do much worse, Dee. I mean, as the skipper of the SS Totally Thinkable.
Captain, you're a dead duck.
Can you help me, do you mind?
Not at all.
Well, that was fun.
You look kind of wet.
Yeah.
Did you tell him your name was Harvey?
Yes. Good. Harvey Howe.
Your face is all wet.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was nice and cooling. I mean, it made me feel cooler.
It's sort of like a facial.
Yeah.
Well, we made it safely out of there and then somehow managed to wander on to the backstage at the stunt show.
Out of the frying pan, right into the fire, if you ask me.
So we got out of there before they had a chance to ask for volunteers.
But then we snuck onto one of those tram rides they have that takes you around the studio.
You know, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We got to see all kinds of great things, like the workrooms where they make stuff for actual movies.
It's true. There's no goofing off here. There's a tram ride every few minutes to see whether or not you're busy.
Then they've got this place called Catastrophe Canyon, where they make an earthquake happen right here in Florida. Well, we were doing great. Seemed like no one was going to recognize us.
Yeah, they didn't recognize me, but you know how they are with Linda.
Oh, yeah.
By any chance is Linda Dano on board?
No, Harry. Yes?
I just love Linda Dano.
Thank you.
Especially this past week when she was doing that aerobics with Soul. Good episode.
Thank
My
you.
favorite episode, however, was when Linda had her parents on when she went back to her hometown. It was sad. I cried. I really did.
Our cover looking pretty shaky, we bid farewell to the tearful tour guide and found ourselves just a step ahead of Disney security officers who had instructions to ship us back to Attitudes on the next tram.
Aha! But then, through the magic of backlots, where do we end up? In the streets of New York.
Oh, Dee. What does this remind you of? Come on, let's try it. Da 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 da.
Looks like back to dancing school for us, huh?
Turns out Disney wants you to be working for them if you're going to do that sort of thing. So, it's back on the run again. Those last guys almost recognized me.
I know. Getting very close. Very close indeed.
I'm not sure I can do this much longer.
Excuse me, aren't you Linda Dano Dee Kelly of Attitudes?
Yes, we are.
It's lovely to have you. Can I have your autograph? Sure. I really appreciate your show.
So, the moral of this story is,
If they tell you you're in a movie that's shooting at Disney MGM, great. Just remember to bring your own raincoat.
We fooled them, didn't we?
Boy, we fooled them.
Yeah. Wait till our next trip.
We did have a lot of fun. We really did. We created such havoc
We
there.
did, didn't we?
Yeah.
They liked us.
Yeah, I think they did.
Well, next, you're going to like this, the dazzle of diamonds and the passion of sapphires. Stay with us.
Well, notice anything different about us? Now,
This incredible?
Dee is wearing, obviously, a diamond and sapphire ring.
Only the largest we've ever seen.
Really?
This and
this
the bracelet.
is the bracelet. Look at this.
Is that
this
magnificent?
Gorgeous or what? Just take a gander at mine. Look at
The matching
necklace
set.
and earrings. This is an entire matching set. This is 47 sapphires weighing 200 carats.
1,295 diamonds weighing 196 carats.
And you can have it all for
For
the
a mere
holidays. Ready?
$2.5 million. Okay?
This is all.
Go ahead.
You.
No.
Please.
No.
All right.
No.
All handcrafted and taking over 1 year to create.
Yeah.
And
We want
from
to thank the Hammerman people in New York City. They very graciously brought these to us.
thank you so much.
I assume these are Christmas gifts, aren't they,
To
Ronnie?
keep?
Thank you, Ronnie.
They're magnificent.
Wonderful. To receive Lifetime's Attitudes tip sheet with information on today's show, call 1-900-773-4040. Today's show and issue number is 8. The cost of the call and tip sheet is $2. To avoid ordering duplicate tip sheets, please check your issue number before placing the call. If you would like tickets, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Attitudes Tickets, 3412 36th Street, Astoria, New York, 11106, or give us a call at area code 718-706-3575.
Coming up on the Lifetime Afternoon Movie, what's your sign? Come here often? Can I buy you a drink? Shelley Hack, Tony Danza, and Paul Michael Glazer enter the pickup zone in the lighthearted drama Single Bars, Single Women. Next, right here on Lifetime.